wanted to cover a little bit the notion of the chosen ones, and been hearing a bit of a buzz about the chosen ones online, so I wanted to address that. And of course, when we think about the chosen ones, we think about the New Testament in particular. We think about the apocalypse, and they talk about the 144,000 that were chosen, and so on. And I would like to broaden that a little bit. 144,000, there's different layers of meaning to that. It's if you do gematria on it, you add 1 plus 4 plus 4 equals 9, which is the number of the goddess, the number of all things, the number of creation. But also, I think it's fair to say that maybe 0.01% of the population is well connected to the Watchers, who are the fountainhead of all this, of all these mysteries and so on. So I would define chosen one as someone that either on their own, or by the grace of deity, or because of his connection to someone, a realized being, or a combination thereof, they have been able to jumpstart the Christing or the ejaculation. They have lit up the energy body like the Christmas tree, and they are able to generate this direct connection to the Watchers, to the hive mind. So I would argue that maybe about 0.01% of the population has been able to achieve that status. So we're talking about the prophets, we're talking about realized beings, we're talking about what they call saints, and in other traditions like the Siddhas, both Hindu and Buddhist tradition, you have them. Also the seers, the rishis, the prophets. Depending on the tradition, they have different names, but we're talking about beings that are directly connected, because when they're able, either through sacraments or consort practice or whatever combination of things they do in order to light this up. I mean, once this is lit up, particularly the pineal, then there's that direct connection. And so there's a direct receiving, so to speak, right? There's one-on-one, and this is what I mean about the separation of the three orders, right? Because you have the exoteric, which is guarded, the entrance to the temple, which is guarded by the Tyler. So you only get intellectual and direct knowledge, right, at that level. And then in the middle level, you get indirect knowledge, like you can hear it, so to speak. You can feel it, but you're not perceiving and experiencing it directly. And and then you have the Holy of Holies, you have the third degree, right? That's where you obtain the information directly. So the whole lighting up of the Christmas tree, so to speak, and the ejaculation, the Christing, is a critical component in order to be able to access that information directly. So again, this has a lot to do with returning as an innocent one to the Garden of Eden, and partaking by the blessing of the Watchers of the fruit of immortality. And this is what it's all about, to complete the journey, to complete the spiral between knowledge of good and evil, getting kicked out of the garden. If you go to Genesis, and the prodigal son, as Jesus would put it, returning back home. So again, you see the same thing spoken of in the Odyssey, because again, the Odyssey was considered, the Iliad and the Odyssey were considered holy scripture by the heathens of the time. And so the wanderings of Odysseus and his return back home, again, is a recurrent theme. We're talking about the souls proving themselves, right, in this hologram. And amongst these souls, there are those that are most tightly connected to the Watchers. And you began to see this in the likes of shamanism, right? Although shamanism could be argued as the first tradition on this planet. And the shamans had visions of power animals and ancestors and so on. But again, I would argue that we're just talking about the Watchers, and we see them according to our own spiritual and cultural evolution. So all I'm doing is widening the meta-narrative to be more all-inclusive in order to facilitate the possibility of the species achieving the Type 1 civilization status. I think that's a worthy goal, and I think the species is struggling, and so I've heard the beck and call of the Watchers, and I'm out here preaching the good news that the Watchers have not forgotten us. They're very much present, and they're doing what they can to kind of help us see us through these growing pains and to achieve this Type 1 civilization status. Each phase, transition, shift involves upheavals, and that's certainly what we're going through right now. So hopefully, as I continue to provide new installments, it's not necessarily going to be daily or anything like that. I'm just having a flurry of moments, streams of consciousness and so on, so there's that. But in each iteration, I'll be going deeper down the rabbit hole with you and with the Watchers, and whatever theme comes to my head, whatever theme the Watchers bring to me, and whichever theme if there's any questions you may ask about these Watchers and so on. But again, going back to the chosen ones, those you could say are the tip of the spear of life and of conscious evolution. And so they pretty much are the same, or in the same vein as the shamans were of old. Those that can see things that everybody else cannot see because they don't have the right equipment, they haven't gone through the right disciplines, right initiations, whatever it is. For whatever reason, only those chosen ones can see, and therefore can properly guide the species. So I would argue that's one of their main purposes, and to bring down, so to speak, information that the rest of the people, for whatever reason, are unable to handle, and to make it palatable and digestible. So I think that's one of my primary functions. I think it's going to be one of my primary functions moving forward. They tell me that whatever I've done up to this point has been for me, and whatever I do from this point onward will be for everyone else. So I'm going to hold them to that and see where it goes, whether it's 3 more sessions or 30 more or 300 more. I don't know. You know, I've done this for 4 years now. Is this going to happen for another 3 years? Is it going to happen for another 30? I don't know. I'm just open and ready. Where do they want me to go with this? This is where I'm going. So We'll figure it out as we go along. Till next time.